Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Check Me. I got some, I guess, some late, but some good news coming out of the Antonio Brown camp here. We often cover what Antonio Brown does wrong, which I understand. He's after that hit from Vance Buford, he hasn't been the same. Look, CTE. It may be CTE. I'm not sure what it is, but the guy has been wilding since then. But as much as we cover the bad things, I do want to cover some of the good things. So we're not just black or white. We kind of cover those gray areas of things that players turning around. So Antonio Brown, back in early March, was a co-owner, bought into arena football team called the Albany Empire. The Albany Empire was a franchise as a team, arena football league team, part of the National Arena League that did some moving around whatnot, but they pretty much they pretty much play out of Albany, New York. Funny thing about it is his father Eddie Brown is also part of this team as well too. He's going to be a director of, I think, operations for the Albany Empire. His father was a 14-year AFL vet. He's voted one of the best players in history. He's in the AFL Hall of Fame. They call him Touchdown Eddie. He has three-time first team All AFL, AFL MVP, two-time Offensive Player of the Year. He had over 1,200 yards, 303 touchdowns. And you talk about arena football and a receiver being able to make plays in tight spaces. It's tough. If from the likes of Kurt Warner, making the transition is over as well too. But arena football, there's some good players in there. It's a tough sport, and it's not something you should definitely downplay or you should downplay at all. But I think it's just good that Antonio Brown, his father's still in his life, but as much as we talk about the bad thing, this may be something good. And I'm not sure what happened with Antonio Brown or who talked to Antonio Brown or who's having conversations with, but it's good to see him kind of being reunited with his father. His father, as a coach, coached pretty much high school football, and he still is the head coach at Boyd High. Not the head coach. I think he's the head coach there. Yeah, he's still a coach at Boyd Anderson High School in Florida. Where pretty much where Antonio Brown grew up. But I think it's important that we're seeing this kind of just connection where he's had help from multiple people. And we don't know what's happening. With Antonio Brown and his father maybe stepping in. They wanted to ask so many questions about Antonio Brown, his mistakes and whatnot, and his father said, "Hey, look, we all make mistakes, but there's room to grow." His father seems real mature about it. His father seems real, understanding what Antonio Brown has done or caused to a lot of people, a lot of children, a lot of kids who looked up to Antonio Brown. I'll be honest with you, I think Antonio Brown's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best players that I've ever seen play the game ever. So when you talk about a guy who just knows how to get open and if you look at his numbers now, his numbers are a lot better than a lot of guys who are in the Hall of Fame right now. So he was excited. It was all smiles. But I just hope that, I feel that, just having a father there, just to guide him throughout the whole situation, in the midst of what Antonio Brown has done, I think it's a good thing. Of course, I don't think that. I think it's real naive for us to go out and wish some harm or hope something bad happens to a guy. I think that I hope we're praying for him. I hope we're sending best wishes his way. You want to see guys like that do well, and the worst thing you can do is when they start doing well, us to kind of bring them down. And I hope this is a sign. I'm praying for him. I hope it's a change in his career and what he's done. And I really think that just having his father there in the situation, having something together, is important, and it's a sign that we're hopefully seeing of Antonio Brown. So. We see him at a lot of college games with his father, and I hope that mentorship is happening. And but I hope it's a turn. I think it's a good thing for Antonio Brown. We all hope that it's a good thing. It's kind of like this: no matter who's president, you don't hope that they run the country bad. You hope they run the country well. So you hope it's like you hope Antonio Brown does well. You don't want him you shouldn't want him see him do bad. But we'll see what happens. He's been quiet. Yeah, we'll see what happens to Antonio Brown.